Yo guys, what's up and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you all how Wheezy makes crazy samples and beats in the style of Young Thug and Gunna. So first I'm going to show you all the sample, then I'm going to break it down and show you how I mixed and mastered it, and then after that I'm going to make a beat with it. So make sure to stay till the end. I haven't done a mastering tutorial in a long time. Make sure to check out my stash kit volume 2 which just dropped. It has a bunch of drum sounds and the bonus is 20 samples, 30 melody midis and 40 hi-hat midis, and it's only 10 bucks, so y'all make sure to cop that. The links for that will be in my description. Make sure to check out my socials as well. And yeah guys, let's go. So I started off with using Contact with the Session Ounce Pro with the Bright Section preset, and I laid down this pretty simple pattern, and I didn't even randomize the velocities just because I liked how it sounded, and this is how the finished pattern is sounding like. And for the effects on this brass, I just had this Soothe 2, which won't open, I don't know why. But it's basically just there to remove all the unwanted and unnecessary frequencies. So it's like an automatic EQ. Then I had this EQ just to get rid of more of these unwanted frequencies. Then this RC20 just for the wobble and the EQ. This Valhalla Vintage Rub where I tweaked the mix and the decay. Then this EQ where I just cut out the lows and had one frequency I didn't like, which I cut out. And I turned it 33% in stereo. Then for the next thing I had these splice vocals, which are basically just simple ad-libs, like vocal one-shots. And as you can see, I chopped them up right here. And for the second part I just rendered them out and pitched them up one octave, and this is how the finished vocal is sounding like. Then for the effects on these vocals, I had this EQ, which looks a bit extreme, but I actually needed to cut out them frequencies like that. Then I had this 3D delay 2 with these effects, then this 3D reverb 2, then a Soothe again, and this EQ just to cut out a lot of the lows and some of the highs, and I put it 12% in stereo. Then for the next thing I had Analog Lab with the Avalon preset. I don't really know from which bank it is, but it's a pretty fire lead preset, and I laid down this pattern which looks pretty complex but actually isn't that complex. It's just these notes the whole time. I didn't even randomize the velocities because I liked how it sounded, and this is how the finished lead pattern is sounding like. And for the effects on this lead, I just had the simple EQ just to cut out some of the frequencies I didn't like, and I panned it 90% to the left. Then for the next thing I had Analog Lab again with the VVS Diamonds preset. And again, I don't really know from which bank it is, but it's a pretty fire preset, and I just layered the top notes from the brass with this synth, and this is how the pattern is sounding like. And for the effects on the synth, I just had this simple EQ where I cut out a lot of the lows and a lot of the low mids, and I cut out some of the frequencies I didn't like, and then I just cut out some of the highs, and that's basically it for the synth. Then for the next and last thing for the sample, I had this bass which is named Ferno, which is from one of Ferno Spazzen's kits, and I just copied the root notes from the brass and put it in this pattern for the bass line. I added some variation right here and right there, and the finished bass line is sounding like this. And for the effects on the bass, I had this little radiator with the guitar double edge preset, then this EQ where I cut out a lot of the frequencies I didn't like, and I put it 100% in mono. Then for the effects on the master, I had this A1 stereo control from Alex Hilton, and I tweaked the safe bass and the zero white knob. Then I had this RC20 for the noise, the wobble, the distortion, the magnetic, and the EQ. Then this plugin, I don't really know what it does, but it makes it sound better with the mix on 23%. Then this Goodhertz WAV compressor where I had 5% on the compression and 8% on the wow. Then a Soothe again, and a sound shifter pitch stereo to pitch it down by 3, and that's basically it for the master settings. And then I rendered the sample out, put the declicking mode on generic, put the mode on stretch, made it a bit louder, boosted it a bit, and this is how the finished sample is sounding like. So now I just finished making the beat, and the first thing I did was obviously dragging in the sample, and I put the declick mode on generic, put the mode on stretch, and I put the trim knob fully in. Then for the next thing I laid down this pretty simple hi-hat pattern, which has a few offbeat snares as y'all will hear in the preview, but it will make sense in the overall beat. I randomized the velocities to make it sound not that boring, and this is how the finished hi-hat pattern is sounding like. Then for the next thing I had this clap pattern with the Empire clap from my stash kit, and the only things I really did was putting in a clap right here and another one right here with the velocity reduced, and this is how the finished clap pattern with the hi-hat is sounding like. Then for the next thing I had this Jacob snare, which is my favorite snare of all time, and it's included in my stash kit as well. And I laid down this pretty simple pattern. It has a few offbeat snares just to match the hi-hat, and this is how the finished snare pattern is sounding like. Then for the next thing I had this short open hat from my stash kit again, and it's just a basic open hat pattern which sounds like this. Then for the last thing, which is the 808, I had this Yes Indeed 808 from my stash kit again. And I laid down this pretty simple 808 pattern, which is just on the root notes from the brass. And I played with the velocities right here, and right there. And the full beat with the 808s is sounding like this. So yeah guys, if y'all enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to leave a comment what y'all want to see next. Please make sure to check out the Stash Kit Volume 2, which has 20 samples, 30 melody midis, 40 hi-hat midis. So y'all make sure to check that out. The link for that will be in my description. Thank y'all for this crazy support in the last few weeks. And yeah guys, see y'all.